Hey there, welcome in. We're going to get straight to it. Today's journal about throwing the baby boomer out with the bathwater. Well, I hope this last 3rd of August treats you gently. Here we are, and I know if you were out of internet range or under a nice cool rock somewhere last week, you missed the biggest media story in the country still trending on the weekend. Now, you may well be today saying, all right, enough already. We've heard about Lisa LeFlam, but just give me a few minutes because there's a few things I need to let you know. I'm also seeing a lot of conversation and some really deep stuff on my social media about discrimination, sexism, ageism, as it applies not only in the media, but everyday life. Ageism has become my big thing, and partly because I was so afraid of aging in the media, afraid of even being known as a grandmother. How stupid it was. But I was pretty sure I'd never be allowed to work to 65 plus like Don Daynard or Mike Cooper or Wally Crowder. The list goes on and on. Of course I didn't, because at 54, we decided to leave. Given our circumstances in 2016, my unhappiness overall, but especially with my co-host, the perfect house awaiting us here in BC, and the fact I had a lot of healing to do after losing Lauren the previous year, it was time for me to go. CHFI was very kind in letting me out of a contract, and so, yes, there are exceptions to what we're talking about. I was lucky. Lisa LeFlam? No. She wasn't afforded the luxury of that decision. I'm betting she had another decade or two ahead of her if she'd chosen to work them. And I have no doubt that if she chooses to work again, she'll be welcomed with open arms, but hopefully also an open bank account from somebody who recognizes and respects her expertise and reputation. Bell Media, first and foremost, a phone company that answers not to viewers or listeners, but shareholders, says she got a chance to say goodbye on air and didn't take it. If that's true, good for her for saying no, because you know what happens before they take you out back and shoot you, right? After a lovely video send-off, you go on the air and say you've decided to go and that you're so grateful and you're going to miss the viewers and on and on. Sometimes they even say they'll be back occasionally with projects that never quite materialize. Whether you've known it or not, you've seen it dozens of times in the past few years with hosts that were shown the door. They're told you'll get your goodbye, but don't go off script or no severance. Oh, and no talking about your work situation in a negative fashion once you're gone either, or it's all off the table. That does happen in radio too, I'm here to tell you. Now, 2 things though, I really want to make clear, okay? First, stop thinking your opinion matters. Your loyalty does not matter. It did in my case, but I was the exception. I was so lucky back in 2003, 4, 5. Sign the petitions, pledge to boycott, show your anger. But in 2022, nothing matters but eyeballs on the digital content, TV, and to some extent radio, killing themselves, destroying loyalty, and then wondering why the numbers are dropping. Local content disappearing, just as local newspapers are being swallowed up and deleted. That real, heartfelt connection with the audience that Lisa only built on during COVID and letting the gray grow in like so many did, doesn't matter. Twerps, and I use that word just as kindly as I can, come in from their accounting, consulting, or business backgrounds and do not understand what makes this connection. So they cut it. And then they act surprised when people are upset. Well, if you're over 35, most media don't want you. Never mind, we are the generation with the money, the ones who are spending, the ones who own things, and doing discretionary spending as well. The trips and all of that, yeah, it's us. Don't mind us. We stopped mattering when the ratings were focused on 25 to 54, especially at the younger end of that. So don't kid yourself. You don't matter. Secondly, please stop calling for other women like hosts of The Social or fill-in anchor Sandy Ronaldo to stand up for Lisa. These women have no voice, no say, no power. That's the way it's been set up. They're constantly told, as former CTV Toronto anchor Christine Bentley was again and again, when the work and the hours were being piled up on her with no extra pay, there are plenty of women who'd love to take your place. Well, eventually they will. So let the ones who do have jobs play out their careers, what little autonomy they're allowed. Don't blame them for not raising their heads from the foxholes. You don't have to watch them, but please don't call for them to sacrifice themselves for the cause either. They don't deserve your disappointment. Television is and always was a brutal, petty, sexist, ageist medium, especially to women. There's usually just a prettier curtain in front of the manure pile to keep you from seeing and smelling it. That's all. And that's all. Have a good week. Thanks for letting me get that off my chest, and I'll be back with you here on Monday.